do it. Let's hop in. It's great to meet you. Thank you for taking a minute out today. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I'm excited.
You bet. Me too. So before we get into your work, I want to know this. 6 years ago, this pandemic changed the world, changed all of us. How did you get through that era, and how has it changed the way that you do things today?
Hmm. Well, before the pandemic, I feel like I didn't like hanging out with myself as much.
Yeah.
And during the pandemic, that permission to slow down because there's nothing else to do. So it relieves that overachiever mentality of like, must be productive, right? It's like nobody's being productive, nothing's happening.
Yeah.
I think that helped me to just really slow down, make peace with like hanging out with myself a lot. And I've just taken that with me since then of like, okay, we don't always have to be in a hurry. We don't always have to be rushing. I
Mhm.
think that's one of the best things. But I also met my husband during that time, which was great because otherwise I would have been alone during that whole situation, which
Yeah.
would have been terrible.
Yeah. Well, I think it was a good pause for all of us. And I think nature mimicked that pause because the Venice
Yeah,
Canal cleared out, the air quality in Beijing and even in LA and other cities cleared up. Like everything had a minute to breathe. Things just spin so fast.
yeah, I
So,
totally agree.
were you in California at the time?
No, I actually lived in Ohio at that time.
Okay. Because I
Hmm.
heard in California you couldn't even walk on beaches in the beginning part of it, which
Oh,
seemed
yeah, that
weird.
was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, like no fresh air for you. Sorry.
What was that just the mayor kind of being a lunatic, or was that like I don't understand where that came from. I mean, there was a lot of weird rules. Like you wear your mask into a restaurant, but then you take it off and breathe all the particles that you're going to ingest for the next hour.
Exactly. And then even in Ohio, it was like, okay, all the non-essential businesses are closed, but like you can still go to Costco. You won't get sick there. It's
Right.
like, cool. Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Huh? Because everybody's going to descend on it, and the germ bag is going to be so much more potent when you
I
walk
know.
into a place like that. It's so weird.
Knock on wood, I still to this day have not knowingly had COVID.
Oh, good for you. I hear that. And I think that's the mystery of it is that I've known people that have gotten all the boosters and they still keep getting it, you know? And then
Yeah.
some people get long-term COVID. Some people, just it just affects them and gets them in the hospital and they're healthy people. It's weird just how the whole thing. So you have a very you have an immune system that maybe a decade from now the companies, the medical companies are going to want to replicate. They're going to be like, all right,
Right.
anybody that hasn't had it, you're the really strong superhero ones on the planet. We need to replicate your genome.
Well,
So,
let me tell you the secret. The secret is I wasn't living in fear at that time. Like I was still doing whatever I was allowed to
sure.
do. I was going to the park, I was leaving the house, getting vitamin D, exercising. I'm always exercising, sleeping really good. I'm a great sleeper, hydration, community, like the basics. If
Yeah.
you're really on top of your basics, you don't get sick very much.
Yeah.
And like I
Yeah.
probably get sick with a cold every 3rd of December,
Yeah. Yeah.
the like triannual just clearing of the sinuses. But other
Yeah.
than that, I'm pretty good to go usually.
What about hand sanitizer? Was that something that you relied
I
on?
wash my hands a lot. I don't like how hand sanitizer smells, so I
Okay.
would rather just like wash them in the sink.
Okay.
But I do carry some in my purse, the
Okay.
Mary Poppins bag. You got to have all the supplies.
Absolutely, just in case. Yeah, because I'm addicted to it now. Like that's the thing. In my day job, I'm carrying around a lot of technology, and it's just a part of my world. So I'm
Yeah.
always like, but anyway, it's. I think there's little things that are residuals from that time period that I'm always curious if it's turned into a habit afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah. Valid
So,
question because it
yeah.
definitely changed everyone's lives. That's
It
for sure.
it certainly did. So let's get into the manifestation, the self-help, being an author, everything that you're doing. And I'm going to put you in front of 12 and 13-year-olds. And one of the kids, it's career day, wants to know what you do for a living. How do you synthesize what you do and make it make sense to their brains?
Yeah, so I'm an author. I write books to help people live their best lives. I'm a podcaster. I have a popular podcast called High Vibe in It. And in general, I just help people to make their goals their reality. And my specialty within that is like, let's look at your goals and see where you might not be fully aligned with them. So, like, are your thoughts supportive of your goals? Are your beliefs supportive of your goals? Are your actions taking you towards your goals? And make sure that's all simpatico so that you can move forward fully in the direction of your goals and dreams and build out and create your most favorite experience.
So let's go to the early years of California dreaming. What was your ultimate like dream career? What did you want to be when you grew up?
Yeah, so actually, all my life, I was training to be a professional ballerina.
Okay.
And that's what kind of started me on this healer journey because, as many young ballerinas do, I got injured. And that kind of spiraled me into an identity crisis slash depressive episode that lasted probably like the age 17 to like 21-ish, like that pivotal time when you're growing up, you're going to
Huh?
college. And I hurt my labrum in my hip, which is like a common injury that baseball players actually get from like rotating their shoulders a lot. And I had bent so far backwards that they thought I'd broken my vertebrae, but luckily it was just a sprain. But because I have hypermobility, like sprains take forever in my body to heal. So I was just falling apart. My body was like not supporting me in the goal of becoming a dancer anymore. And I just spiraled. And in that spiral, I slowly became like antisocial, no hobbies, uninterested in everything, like all the classic signs of depression.
Yeah.
And a couple years into that, I was just like, wait a minute. I didn't always used to be like this. Like, I used to be happy. I used to have friends. I used to want to leave the house. I used to be bubbly. I used to have energy. And one day I just kind of said this ultimatum and I was like, universe, God, spirit team, whoever's out there, like, send help. I will do whatever a girl's got to do to get help around here. Like, if you send the help, I will act on it. So please, like, help me because otherwise it's just not going to end well for me. And of course, in that prayer, I received a great therapist. I started working with a shaman. I started learning all about self-help and spirituality and processing your emotions and raising your vibration. And everything was like clicking and working, and I was getting better. And within about a month's time from that prayer, I would say I was fully healed from the depression from doing all the work that was sent to me. And I decided, okay, I need to share this information. This is amazing. Why are people not teaching this in school? Like, why isn't this a thing?
Yeah.
And just had this thought, like, I'm going to be the next Deepak Chopra, which now is not a very good analogy because of the whole Epstein thing. But I was like, I'm
Ah,
going to write a bunch of self-help
yeah.
books. I'm going to help a bunch of people. And like, I need to be an author.
Yeah.
So after my healing journey, that's when I decided, okay, authorhood is for me. Books are a way to reach a lot of people and impact them deeply in, a way that doesn't cost people a lot of money. Books are accessible, books are everywhere. They can really change your life. So I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. I don't know how, but
Yeah.
I'm going to do it. And that was
Yeah.
kind of how the authorhood started. And then that spiraled into the podcast and retreats and coaching and all that eventually.
So, what was it about your early childhood growing up that gave you these seeds? Because it's one thing to say that you grabbed all these signals from the universe and you went forward on it, but it takes a lot of stamina. It takes a lot of grit for people to get to that point, especially when you're in a depressive state. So, what was it about your life early on, the seeds through family, friends, consciously, subconsciously, that were planted that made you have this idea? Because my stepdaughter was in dance and it
Hmm.
destroyed it really tore her up too. Like
Yeah.
I don't think that people understand in the dance world how much strain and how much your body gets destroyed by even 18.
Yeah. No,
So
definitely.
so to go through that dream kind of deflated and moving on, what were the things that were imbued in you that became you?
Well, I feel like my personality is very much high achiever, go-getter. That's been like out of the womb. Like my mom would tell me when I was little that I didn't want help doing my hair. I didn't want help coordinating my outfit. Like I always wanted to be independent and like do everything myself. And they would try to help me and be like, no, I want to do it. So I've always been like a doer and just like, I want to do it. Let me try it. I can do it. Like a natural, I don't know, God-given confidence, I guess, which gives me the audacity to say something like I want to be an author, even though I didn't go to college, even though I don't know anything about that career path.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, I think they just talk themselves out of their dreams because they think too much about like what could go wrong. And I'm like, well, you can always pivot. Like in my
Yeah.
mind, I'm like, you can always pivot.
Uh-huh.
So it's fine if it doesn't work.
Yeah.
But obviously not preferred. Hopefully we do want it to work.
Huh?
But it's not like end of the world. And I think in that healing period, I really learned to be comfortable with feeling like the worst of the worst emotions. And that really made me kind of, can I say a bad word?
Oh yeah.
kind of unfuckwithable
Yeah.
because most people are scared of outcomes because of the feelings they associate with that. So, like, I don't want to break up because I'm going to feel devastated, or
Hmm.
I don't want to go bankrupt because I'm going to feel like a failure. Like, it's never really the circumstance, it's more the feeling that they're
Yep.
afraid of feeling. And after I'd gone to the depths of depression, I was like, I ain't scared to feel nothing. So, if something doesn't work out, fuck it. Like,
Yep.
I'll feel better. I can process it, I can handle it. So I think going through that really built the resilience because in my childhood, I had a great supportive childhood, like not family trauma, like nothing weird going on there. Like all my problems started in my teens when I got injured.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess a combination of just getting really comfortable with uncomfortable feelings and that depressive episode really expanded me in both directions. Like I went to the depths of hell, but also it like expanded how much light I could hold in my body,
Yeah.
if that's a good way to explain it. And so that really expanded me and probably expanded my mind on the other side of that too.
So at the end of the day, who's been that inspirational force in your life that's allowed you to evolve to where you're at, to find your place and to help others?
Mm, it's a great question. I've been inspired by a lot of different teachers, their teachings, their work, but I've always felt like I want to make a difference. Like, I don't know. I mean, you talk to a lot of famous people, right? So I think there's this feeling ingrained from you from a young age of like, I'm gonna do something big.
Yeah.
And when I was little, I would always attribute that to dance. Like, I'm gonna be a prima ballerina. I'm gonna be the star. I'm gonna tour the world. I'm gonna be on stages. I'm gonna entertain the masses. I'm gonna be in my power and be elegant and beautiful and all these things. And now I'm like, I think it's more tied to this work that the ballet positioned me for going through that healing episode and that kind of rebirth because I've always felt like I was meant to do something big and impact a lot of people, but I used to attribute that to dance. Now I'm like, probably more so selling lots of books or helping
Yeah.
lots of people online through the podcast or whatever it is.
Yeah. It's almost like that battle between nature and nurture. Like you said, you were just born with this level of seeing light, of seeing things in a certain way, being driven, but you had to learn to kind of nurture all of that. Same thing.
Yeah.
You probably have good genes, so COVID didn't have a good chance, but you really inoculated it because of your lifestyle,
Right. And
you know?
something that really helped me too, to give credit to my parents, is like they were always self-employed. So I saw them doing their own thing. Like
Yeah.
I saw them living an unconventional path. So I never thought that that was weird or
Uh-huh.
risky. I was just like, well, that's normal. In my family, we're just go-getters. We're all self-employed, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that has a lot to do with it too. Because I know it can be really scary to not go to college or not have a traditional 9 to 5 or not work for a certain company or whatever. And I've just always been a creative spirit where I'm like, as long as I'm creating and I also like making money, then we're good to go.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely. So as far as books are concerned,
Mhm.
literature, what were the books early on for you that really hooked you? What did you like to read? What was a big, like, literary moment for you?
Yeah, well, I've always been into nonfiction. So I've always been like a self-help junkie, even though that's not the best way to put it, but kind of is what I was. Like I would absorb everything. I was reading in the beginning days of my healing, like a lot of Abraham Hicks, Michael Singer, The Untethered Soul. That book like totally blew my mind and heart wide open. Lots of Wayne Dyer, like pretty much all the Hay House authors. Lots of Gabby Bernstein. Who else was I reading? A lot of Deepak. Just all Tony Robbins.
Yeah.
It was a wide spectrum of like very spiritual or like very practical psychological, but all of it. Because in my mind, I was like, ooh, this is so nourishing. These things are working. This is so empowering. Like, I'm all about just quality of life. How can we maximize that from the inside out?
So podcasting, having a popular show, what was the first podcast you got addicted to?
Hmm. I like to bounce around a lot. I wouldn't say I'm like addicted to one particular,
Mhm.
but of course I love Diary of a CEO. That's a great one.
Yeah.
There's a really cool one that has to do more with money than psychology called What is Money by Breedlove. That's a really good podcast because I'm like a Bitcoiner, so I like to nerd out about all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Um, what else do I like listening to like a lot? Hmm. I bounce around. I'm like
Yeah.
one of those people that uses the podcast search engine as like, let me learn about AI today, or let me learn about Bitcoin, or let me
Uh-huh.
learn some self-help. And then I'll just like find a really good episode and dive in. But I'm not always like, ooh, I'm binging this entire
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah. No, I get it. So let me ask you this. If you could get one person on the planet right now to be a guest on your show, who would you love to sit down with and talk to?
Mm. Dead or alive? Or alive?
I mean, we'll do a live because we want to do the manifesting thing, but if we
Okay,
really
okay,
want to
okay.
be very dreamy, we can go with the ghost for sure.
Um, this is gonna sound nerdy, but I'm a huge Tate McRae fan, so I would probably want to interview her
Yeah.
about her journey. Or any other like fun celebrity that I really like and look up to who has openly maybe talked about manifesting or like their mindset. Like Dochi, that would be really cool to interview her.
Yeah.
She talks about manifesting a lot. Hmm.
So I was at a conference in October and Rob Riggle, the comedian,
Hmm.
he's from Missouri and we were in Southern Missouri at a conference. And it was really weird. It was a tech conference that he was there, but he was up there and he was getting ready to release a book, but he just bought his family's farm down there. And he said that he had a 10-year plan to get on Saturday Night Live. So he was in the military. He's a Missouri boy. There was no real like comedy chops at the point. He just wanted to do that. Wrote it on a piece of paper. And he literally 10 years to the day that he wrote that on a piece of paper, he was on Saturday Night Live. And it's those
Dang.
things, right? That you just put out there in the universe. You think about it. And it's that whole thing. When you start, it's like habits after 90 days become pretty permanent. It's the same thing with like telling yourself that you're going to do something. You just got to continue the good dialogue and anything can happen.
Yeah, I mean, it's that like delulu that they talk about on social media, right? Like you have to have the audacity to believe in yourself, even if it doesn't make sense
Uh-huh.
yet. And you have to like stick to that knowing in your heart and just try.
Yep.
Like literally most people just don't even try because they're like, oh, that would never happen for me. It's like,
Uh-huh.
why not? It happens for people all the time,
Yeah.
especially the ones who are like, well, fuck it, I'll just try.
Yeah.
See where we go.
Exactly. Well, but it's like you said earlier, all you do is pivot. If it doesn't work out, you just go back to whatever you were doing and
Yeah,
refine it. But that's the whole idea of entrepreneurs too,
right.
the fail thing. Um, so let me ask you this. What gets you up every day? What is the motivator for you to change lives, to write books, to do your podcast, to continue? Because it's not like you have this regular gig where you're going and you're making money. There's a lot of this that's about really having an influence on others. What is that energy every day to do that for others and to also save enough for your own soul? What is that when the alarm clock goes off?
Yeah, so my life consists of a lot of self-nourishment to the point of like overflow. So that's where I give from. I wake up excited to create a really juicy blog post or write an amazing chapter in a book. And like creativity really gives me a lot of energy, but not just creativity, just to be creative. Like for me, it has to land for someone in a way that's going to be beneficial. So I guess that's what gives me energy and like the ultimate vision of how many people I would like to help and just chipping away at that goal, which there is not really a number per se, but I would say it's in the millions.
Yeah.
So I just keep going. I'm
Yeah.
like one at a time, 1,000 at a time, 10,000 at a time. It'll add up.
So the one thing that can change our lives is like random acts of kindness.
Mhm.
People can do things that can change your level of empathy or the way that you live your life. What's one of the nicest things anybody's ever done for you in your life?
Hmm. Nicest things. Honestly, I got to give a shout out to my husband. He's the nicest person I know. Before I met him, life was much harder with him. He works day in, day out to help make all my dreams come true, even if they're crazy or wild or whatever. He's like, I'm gonna do it for Kelsey. So, gotta give it to Jeff. Gotta give
I
it to
love
Jeff.
it.
Hmm.
So if you had a dream tonight, ran into the 18-year-old version, if you're ready to go out in the world, change things,
Hmm.
and you could show a 60-second clip of your life, of the life you've lived and everything that's happened up to this point, would that young version of you believe that your life turned out this way?
Mm, probably not. She'd be like, girl, you're full of it.
Would you give any advice?
I would say that I would definitely tell her, like, look, this whole depressive situation is temporary, but when you're in it, it's gonna feel permanent. So don't fall for that trickery that like this is the rest of your life. You're going to be miserable forever. Like, no, no, no. This is just a short chapter to transform you into who you need to be, to do what you got to do what you're meant to do. So just go through it bravely, and there is another side. And on the other side, things are so much better.
So if everything that's happened, everything you've overcome, everything you've evolved to and accomplished, what are you ultimately the proudest of or the happiest about?
Hmm. Honestly, if you asked me this a few years ago, I would be like, I'm the proudest of all the books I wrote or all the things I did and like tie my value to accomplishment. But these days, I'm just proud of myself for the perseverance, staying focused on the end goal, and enjoying myself more through the process and not making it so much about outcomes because I used to do that and it's really exhausting. And I'm shifting into an era of we're enjoying the process, we're enjoying the unfolding, we're enjoying overcoming the challenges, and just like building a really great daily life for myself. Like every day I wake up and I'm like, yeah, it's Tuesday. I'm excited.
All right. So what's one of your favorite fan letters that you've gotten?
Oh man. Well, it's cool because you know how they say never meet your idols. Well, I have met a lot of my idols through my podcast, High Vibe Next. We interview a lot of self-help authors and teachers and stuff. And I haven't met one that I regretted meeting yet.
Good.
And for my new book that's coming out in December, The Manifesting Fix, my publisher asked me to reach out to people to give endorsements for the book. And I've been getting the nicest endorsements from the book from people that I have always looked up to or read their books or really admire their work. And I'm just like, this amazing, famous author thinks my work is amazing. So that's really been landing. But of course, like throughout my career, I love getting emails from people where they're like, oh, this one podcast helped me change my perspective, or this blog post you wrote, like, helped change my life, or I was gonna kill myself because I was so hopeless, but then I didn't. Like, I
Yeah.
obviously that feels really good.
So have you been to a Tony Robbins event?
Not yet.
Okay. Is it something you're going to do?
Maybe. It sounds
Yeah.
fun.
I mean,
It's not like like I need to do it, but it would definitely be fun to go to one of his events or Joe Dispenza or one of
yeah.
those would be super fun.
Yeah, for sure. So at the end of the day, everyone has a perception of you. Family,
Mhm.
friends, fans, everyone you work with, everyone that listens to your podcast, buys your books, but you run the show. What's your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
Hmm. I think I'm someone who comes from a good place, really feels nourished from helping other people, wants to always make the world a more beautiful place, a more high vibrational place, but also I think something get people get wrong about me is they think that like my thoughts don't waver or my feelings don't waver because I've really mastered like working through those, but I still be doubting. I still be having anxiety. Like I'm still everything that I teach, I am actively practicing. So I'm coming from a place of this is what I've been doing. This is what's working for me. This is what's helping me. Like, I'm just a girl on the self-help journey like everyone else. And yes, I might be a little bit further ahead in some areas, like processing your emotions or manifesting your dreams or whatever, but I'm still going through it just like everybody else.
It's a journey, not a
Mm-hmm.
destination.
Exactly. And I used to be like, oh, you have to be perfect to be teaching this stuff. And it's like, no, you
Yeah.
just have to be coming from a good place and one or two steps ahead of other people in a certain area, and you can serve them immensely. You don't have to know all the secrets of the universe. That's crazy. Nobody does.
I feel like what you're doing and what a lot of people are doing in this self-help realm is going to become more and more essential as people rely on AI. Because I think that people are going to misuse AI to kind of abate judgment and those kinds of things. So I think this human touch of being driven yet imperfect is going to be the perfect antidote to this weird reality of AI that's permeating our lives way more than we can even imagine right now.
Yeah, I feel like AI is like a double-edged sword, right? Like for me, because I kind of already know a lot about psychology, I do sometimes like to use it as a self-help tool or for self-reflection or for
Sure.
it to like get into my blind spots. But I feel like if you know nothing and you're just relying on this robot to like evaluate your life, it's probably not a great idea. And honestly, it depends on the model you use because if you talk to Claude, you're going to get a certain output. If you talk to Gemini, you're going to get a certain output. If you talk to OpenAI, if you talk to ChatGPT, it's going to be like, that's the best idea ever, like to
Uh,
everything you say. So it's
yep.
like, is that really the best feedback? I don't know.
Yeah.
A way that I do love to use AI is you can get really descriptive if you want to do like a day in the life manifestation exercise, and you can tell it all your goals and kind of what your dream life looks like, and then ask it to script you out like basically like a journal entry of what would my life look like if I had achieved all these dreams, and it can get really vivid for you and you might read it back and start crying. I have done that before. It's really, really cool. So that's a
Yeah.
fun exercise. Or with Gemini, the I think it's called Nano Banana, the image generator, you can make a vision board, but like put yourself in all the images. So for example, for my upcoming book, The Manifesting Fix, I made like a paparazzi image of Kim Kardashian, like holding it on the way out of her airplane, or like a billboard in Times Square with it, or an like a tour bus with the book all over, or me on
Yeah.
the TEDx stage. Like you put yourself in these things and you can kind of customize your vision board, and that's really fun.
That's awesome. So let me tap into your sense of adventure here. If you could get into a time machine and go back in time and see one event in human history, where are you going to go? What do you want to see happen? What do you want to see unfold with your very eyes?
Mm. I would want to see something happy. I would not want to go back in history and see like some big battle or
Yeah.
whatever. I would want to go to a time where art was thriving and everyone had a lot of money and was very resourced and people were happy and having fun. Honestly, the 80s, I'm like, dang, I'm so sad I just missed the 80s because I was born in 94.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, being a teenager in the 80s seems so fun. It was awesome. Everyone had money. Everyone was resourced. Everyone was happy. It was like American dream was alive and well, thriving. That would be a fun time to go back to. But all the way back in history, I don't know. I feel like I've already been there because I feel like I'm an old soul who's lived
Yeah.
many lives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a product of the 80s growing up in it. And
Yeah.
every time and it's like all of these shows are kind of we're the new baby boomers, the Gen
Yeah.
Xers. So all of this is flooding and it's all just warmth. Like all of this is like how much it was just so much fun. And everybody wasn't into Reagan. And I mean, it's like that was kind of the pillar at that time, but there was this more imbued sense. It was before things got ugly. We were
Yeah.
just all like living. It was just like we were just out doing our thing, staying out late. People weren't being careful. If we scraped our knee, it wasn't like a 9 alarm fire. It was like there was just a freedom that was
Right.
different. So anyway, yeah, that always gets me going. So if anyone wants the new book, anyone wants to tune into the podcast, previous books, any of the good work in your world, where do they go?
Yeah, so The Manifesting Fix, my upcoming book, is already available for pre-sale. So if you just search The Manifesting Fix, Kelsey Aida, you'll find it. You can pre-order it. You'll get it on December 1st, and it will totally change your life. And it's basically designed to like help you dissolve and delete all your personal blockages so you can finally manifest the thing. So, versus other books I've written where it's more like, here's some manifesting techniques and methods, we're beyond that now. Now we're into the troubleshooting phase of like, okay, I did my vision board, I did my affirmations, I did everything they told me to do. Why isn't my life changing? Why aren't I manifesting my goals? And this book will show you exactly why and how to fix that so you can fix your manifesting, hence the manifesting fix. But you can find that at kelseyaida.com. You can find me there. High Vibe in it if you like podcasts. It's really for the self-help spiritual junkies who love to just nerd out about that stuff in a fun, casual way. I co-host that with a hypnotherapist. She's amazing too. So I'm like the self-love manifesting lady. She's the subconscious mind lady. And then we have guests on sometimes who are also really amazing. And I have a Substack. I don't know who out there is on Substack, but it's called Aligned and Abundant. And that's where I post pretty much weekly essays, blogs, just little blurbs, thoughts, perspectives that'll help you be more aligned and abundant, as the name suggests. And that's pretty much it. I'm Kelsey Aida everywhere on social, so you can find me wherever. I love Instagram. TikTok is a growing love of mine. I'm trying to figure that one out. I just joined LinkedIn. You can find me on LinkedIn. So yeah,
All
I'm
right.
everywhere.
I will put those links in the show notes. Kelsey, this has been so wonderful. Thank you so much for your energy, your story. Best of luck with the release of the book.
Yeah, thank you, Joe. This has been great.